Okay, this is Survient reporting in for Sude. I am covering Terranigma on my first review, episode 1 here. As I discussed in my little kind of pre-discussion about this is one of my favorite games I've ever played, especially as a kid, in my teenage years with this one, in the Soul Blazer series. Just giving you a little bit of the intro here. I thought they did a pretty impressive job. At this point, Quintet was, I think, at one of their strongest periods. You know, they'd had experience from the previous two games in addition to the rest of the library. This is at the very veer end of the Super Nintendo in 96-ish. I think it was released in 97 in Europe. So, there's a good kind of close to the Super Nintendo era, at least for Quintet anyway. There was a lot of good games that came out. Those games are good to follow up. Now, you know, you're sitting there and comparing things like Chrono Trigger, which is about 95, 96, versus this, which was almost a year later. I'd have to go with Chrono Trigger for story and a lot of other elements, but this, I don't know, I'm smitten for action RPGs, especially from the Super Nintendo era, and I think that Terranigma was one of the best examples on the Super Nintendo. It had a lot of good elements going for it. There wasn't as much promotion on this. Germany had a few things with Terranigma going on that they did for their promotions, but yeah, like I said, this did not get released in the US, and honestly, marketing-wise, I think Illusion of Gaia in the US got more than Terranigma did globally. Being a little bit quiet here because I wanted to give you guys a little bit of that feel for the opening. One of the strongest aspects of the Quintet games as a whole, I think, was the soundtracks. The composer for several of these games, I couldn't give you a name because I think there was more than one, but they knew what they were doing. They came, they saw the Super Nintendo, they saw what it could do sound-wise. Granted, it's not quite up there with the newer systems, but at the time, with all they had to work with, these guys did an amazing job. I love the music from these games. Chrono Trigger also had a great soundtrack, being from a different development company, but honestly, I think some of the Quintet soundtracks are right up there with it. I mean, I would honestly, the hat goes off to Chrono Trigger for some of the best soundtracks for the Super Nintendo. But you know, if you look at a whole and just some of the better ones from the games, which is really a tough competition on the Super Nintendo, it had such a great library. I think some of the best soundtracks came out of the Quintet games. I'll explain more in on the story as we go. I just want to give you guys a feel for the opening. They did put a lot of work into this, I think, development-wise. You know, this was kind of a new thing. In Super Nintendo games, you didn't really have this kind of intro, I don't think. I mean, you got it more kind of into the later games. Most of the modern games don't really have this. They kind of went back to the old school of just having the title screen and expecting you to get right into the game. I mean, I can imagine in Europe and the UK where they had the game stores. You know, you gotta figure, you're a kid in 97-ish, right about when Pokemon was just about to come. I don't think it was out just yet. It was out in Japan, but... And you see this intro repeating in the store. I think it would have been pretty... It's probably very nostalgic for a lot of overseas players. But anyway, getting into the game and stopping from boring you further. You jump into the game. You can see I have a few here that I was messing around with earlier. We are going to start with a fresh copy. I'm going to get rid of these saves here. Start with a fresh game because I want to give you guys the full taste. I normally put my name, but I'm so true to these games. I'm just going to keep it with Ark as the main protagonist. The spiky haired dude you saw. Getting started here. You could read the manual and get a backstory on this. There's a couple things going on, but me, from my perspective, I had no manual to go on, so I'm going to play this from the perspective of when I first started playing it. Now, at this point, you can't really, you know, you're thinking maybe they have a relationship going on, but it's really kind of hard to tell. They just kind of introduced this very fresh start of the game. So I wasn't going to, at the time when I was playing this, I didn't really want to jump to conclusions on that. I just kind of said, we'll wait it out and see what happens. As you can see, the effects in the game, just from this room alone, you know, you get the little fish in the fishbowl, the lighting effects. They're partially using Mode 7 here, I think, for some of the effects, but, you know, you get some impressive things going on. Control-wise, you know, you're just walking around. It's a pretty good walk speed to start with. You can also run with Y. You also have jumping, which, oh my god, I cannot tell you how much I want that in RPGs, and so many miss out on that. Jumping is just, you should have jumping. That is something that should be in every RPG. A and X don't do anything just yet, yeah, I'm playing on a 360 controller, and so I'm looking at the letters and they're all mixed up, but yeah, you got B, you got A, you've got X and Y for running. But anyway, moving right along here, I'm gonna start a save here. Save points look like this with a little book. Obviously only been playing for 2 minutes. Next to note on the comments is the music, obviously. This town music, I love it. It's awesome. There are some objects you can pick up. It takes you a little while to figure it out. It took me a while anyway, initially, to figure out what I could pick up and what I couldn't. There's a point where you get to where it pretty much tells you, hey, stupid, pick this up. But anyway, I'll give you a little bit of dialogue. I'm probably going to skip through most of the side dialogue. Like, there's towns where there's tons of people, and I'm not going to sit down and cover that. You can see they make a lot of allusions to what's going on in the story right from the onset. They talk about Crystal Blue and a couple Outside World and a couple other things. I'll cover more in detail. I don't want to spoil the story as we go. I want to kind of uncover things, leave a little bit of loose details here and there, so that way if you play it yourself, you can kind of hunt down through those missing gaps. So, just give you a little backstory, kind of keep up to speed, because I'm not going to talk to all the villagers. Basically, this guy's a troublemaker. He's grown up in this village, as far as we know. We'll get a little bit more into that as the story goes on. But, so from this, we can pretty much tell that while there may not be an official couple, they obviously have feelings for each other, both Elle and Art, but I'm not a big romanticist, so I'm not going to get into that. You guys can take what you want for that. He's a typical guy, lazy, messy, causes trouble. You can tell he's probably a kid right at the onset of becoming an adult. So we have the mysterious blue door. We have somebody called the Elder, the Weavers, which is Elle's family. A lot of things being thrown at us. Before I go talk to the Elder being right here, I'll show you around the town a little bit. Yeah, I'm not really sure where Quintet was going with the Crystal Blue. I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about here. Just give me a little bit of dialogue to follow along with here. And now you're sitting here with the pot, and she tells you to get the pot, and you're not sure how to give it to you. And the only way you can try all the other buttons. You can jump, you have Y and X, L and R, start, which pauses, and select, which doesn't do anything yet. Your only option is A, which is going to throw it, so you already know it's coming. So it kind of forces you into that troublemaker role. But anyway, moving on. I don't want to bore you all day. So we're trying to exit. This guy prompts us. Oh, right. I thought I could leave without... Maybe it's the other door? Okay, never mind. Like I said, it's been a little while since I played this, so I don't know every little piece in detail. I know the major points, though. So we gotta talk to the Elder first. So, I'm gonna give you a little tidbit. There is some manual artwork on this dude. This Elder guy. He looks really creepy. Just throwing that out there because I think it's an important note. Because in the sprite format, you can't really tell. He just looks like an old guy, kind of. I mean, maybe some people can discern how he looks kind of creepy, but yeah, no, in the manual, you can really tell that something weird is going on. So, playing to this troublemaker role, I'm going to go and I'm going to try and open up the chest, because that's what I would do. I like to role play. So, obviously, he doesn't want us to open the chest, but from a gameplay perspective, we're gamers, we want to make sure the developers did their job. Obviously, they made it so it's on both chests. But anyway, let's get along with the story and talking to the Elder here. We're troublemakers. We have to make an excuse. So far, typical story. Dude in village, growing up, does some trouble, needs to go apologize. So yeah, we're a bunch of wisecrackers here. Now we get into the town. The Crystal Blue is the mode 7-bit there with the little floating orbs. You can't really tell what they are from a distance. We'll get more into that later in the story. Exploring the town, the little intro opening kind of showed you what was going on. It's a typical village. You can talk to the villagers and they give you general info. They make a lot of allusions to outside world, crystal blue, things like that, and I'll get into detail about that. The kids pretty much say the same thing. I'll show you a few important notes. Let's see here. This is just a general house. This is where all the kids were staying. I guess the orphan ones. The town name is Krista. Crystal Blue, Krista, Crystals. Now this is an interesting point to note. I'll stop back here first. Now you're going to see something a little creepy in the game. Talking pumpkins. Fortunes. Fortune tellers are throughout the game. They pretty much tell you what to do next if you're lost. So beginning in the game, I don't think she's going to have much to tell us, if I remember correctly. So yeah, she follows. This is basically a guide to show you what you need to do next. There's certain parts where you will get kind of stuck. And obviously most pumpkins say the same thing. It's kind of hybrid Easter eggs and just general talkers. Doing fishing. Like I said, a lot of references to something mysterious going on. So yeah, the pumpkin stock, you can pick up the pumpkins. Fuck it, I'm a troublemaker. I'll throw pumpkins. And see, you know, it's a pretty small village, not much going on. They did a lot of good detail, considering the level of graphics they had to work with. I'll take you through some of the shops here. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, apparently Art cannot read. Regardless, we're here in the magic shop. These guys sell you magic, and they explain how they work. So basically, there's this collectible items called magic rocks. They fuel your magic power. I will note this about magic in the game up front. Magic is optional. You can completely beat the game without using it, and there are certain places where it doesn't really help you. So it's a mixed bag. I'll be showing off to give you kind of an idea of how it works as I go here, but like I said, most of it's optional. Here we are at the merchant. There is, like I said, you have the magic rocks, which are kind of the magic currency, I guess. It's kind of a token system, how that works. This actually operates off of actual money. I think it's gil. I'm not sure what the actual currency is that they call it. Gems. Gems is the currency, that's right. So you have Krista, Crystal Blue, Gems, magic rocks. As you can see, I am broke. I cannot afford anything, which makes me sad. But it's okay. We'll get some goodies in a minute. So, before I progress the story, one last piece here. I'm going to go into the mill here, because there's some interesting references here. It's important to note, as meager as it sounds. So yeah, a lot of weird dialogue. Something doesn't feel quite right. We'll have a little fun though. Ironically, I did figure that out at the beginning. See, this is a switch. You turn it on, you turn it off. Does it do anything? Not really. It changes the dialogue for this dude, and that's about it. I'm a troublemaker. I'm playing my role. Anyway, so these kids are jumping. It shows you jumping in the intro. I'm just gonna skip along the story here. I'm gonna make a quick side reference here. They're a Weaver group. Let me read what they have to say. One of these chicks says something different. I know one of you says something different. Yeah, she does. And okay, she's completely silent. Oh, wait, see, there you go. So, yeah, a lot of hodgepodge, wishy-washy stuff. Let's check what she has to say here. See, that's interesting. Very interesting, because I don't remember that line. That she was weaving something for the Elder. Regardless, moving along the story here, because I've been wasting so much time. Come on, we're role-playing here. Alright, obviously we gotta talk to Elle here. Okay, so I'm pretty much done here. So, well, what else can I do? Well, let's head back home. Normally you'd explore the village, yada yada yada, but we've spent enough time doing that. Let's go see what's going on back at the house. I don't know. Let me see what she says. Nope. Not gonna fall for the same trick twice. And here's where the story starts progressing. I'm a troublemaker, but I'm a lone wolf. I'm not gonna do what other people tell me to do. Oh crap. Alright, so the dude's got trounced. Alright, so obviously I can't get in through the door. The old fart's nowhere to be found. I'm gonna double check his room just in case. See, this is the part that I think is bullcrap. You should be able to open these while he's gone. But, moving right along here, let me just make sure he hasn't changed. Yeah. There's something... Oh yeah, he said, the guy who told you to open the door said to throw the vases, so... Say you do it once, and then you do it twice here. Obviously something weird's going on here. Glad I didn't open the door. And for those who are interested, if you open the door on your own, it's the same result. The guys still get frozen, but you get knocked out either way. So I got this floating thing. Can't quite tell what it is, what they're supposed to mean. Like when I was playing this for the first time. In typical Japanese fashion. I would make a tick in the box joke, but it turns out it's much worse than that. Some creepy ass thing pops out. And if you don't believe me, check the manual art. This thing looks... The old dude is creepy and this thing fucking looks weird. Heal me. I'll make mention though, I hate games that reference keys. It should be like narrator's dialogue that tells you to do that, not the character. So now our select key gets an explanation. So basically hit select, you go inside this box. It's a magic box where you have all your crap. Yeah, it's the magic system. Magiroc's kind of like a template for any unit of magic that you can engrave at those shops to put a magic spell on it. Some spells taking up more slots than others. Yeah, it's pretty easy to figure out how to do the attacks. I'll show you guys. So stats panel. Change the config settings there. Yeah, so if you're in a dungeon, you can use that as a... room. Although, to be fair, once you have a weapon equipped, you can't de-equip it. You have to. The only option you have is to exchange for a different weapon. Yeah, armor becomes pretty important. Alright, so pretty much you got the room, and it really doesn't let you do anything just yet. It says explore, but there's not much you can do in this mode anyway. I'll show you the difference once we get there. We're gonna go right to the weapon room and get out of here. I would say no, but I mean, come on. Alright, before I continue, here's a special note. Despite the descriptions, the only weapon this dude ever gets is a spear. They're very, very multicolored spears at times, but it's all spears. I don't care if it's a sword or scythe or pike. It's a spear. So we get free control again. Isaiah pretty much tells you, hey, go and talk to the old guy. Ironic that he said, think you can get away to Yomi though, because you just do this. And Yomi's right there. And this is the typical screen. It's got things you do in certain situations on maps, how to balance and all that crap. This thing tells you how to do different moves, which is kind of stupid. That's your stats. Whatever, not very important. We have no map currently. Settings, I mean, I'm not gonna mess with that. Anyway, the only thing I'm gonna do, because I actually didn't really pay attention to that. So, okay, you can use L to find out more about items. This I was not aware of. I think I have armor too. See, that's a catch right there, because if you don't pay attention, you'll miss that. And it does help out. The game doesn't really tell you to check that. Pretty much the same dialogue for talking to those guys. So obviously not there. There he is. I want to progress the story. What do you want? So before I head out, notice he kind of caught himself there. That's something to keep in mind of. See, now it doesn't mention it, but now... delicious money! Alright, let's go buy stuff. And now he's freaking out because a gate appeared. Yeah, sure you will. Where was I gonna head? Oh yeah, the shops. Go ahead and buy some stuff real quick here. Now, you can't get enough money to buy that, but honestly, while you're in this next few areas, the default weapon, the Cry Rod, will heal you, so this is kind of deceiving. And you can get more armor, but it's like one higher, and really there's no point in anything else because you... But the only thing you can get is like poison, cure. Although I think, if I remember right, does he sell one of those? I gotta just check his inventory real quick. He doesn't, alright. There's another item I'll explain a little bit here. Anyway, so we're about to head outside. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short here for this one. We've been recording for a little while here, so this is just kind of an opening intro, show you the opening areas. We're about to head outside and actually play the damn game for real, so I'll catch you guys on the next episode here. Peace. Oh, actually, hang on. Let's go save first. do this the right way. So as you can see, everybody's frozen, but